So we've said on here a bunch that we are very pro players getting money unless it's Kirk Cousins. But Dalvin Cook, we absolutely love and adore him. I do think that he is the best running back in the NFL when fully healthy. Again, yes, that is a big if or but or when. I forgot what I said. Anyway, I do think that the Vikings offense is better with Dalvin, especially a happy Dalvin, even though I do believe that Alexander Madison could command just like Mike Anderson, like Orlandis Gary, the bit rush for 1,000 yards behind this line in the scheme. But yeah, so Dalvin Cook, Vikings, like we said, no noise is good news, or no news is good news when it comes to negotiating front. So there hasn't been leaks of either side for a number of weeks. So that does mean to us that negotiations are going well, or maybe it's just absolutely hit a stone wall that's never going to move forward, right? And we talked about last week that Dalvin Cook, there are so many things that you can pull in a contract negotiation, especially if you're the player, especially if you don't have the amount of leverage that Dalvin does not in this situation, especially with the new CBA, which really does hold neuter holdouts. So can't really hold out in training camp. We talked about his options before. Show up to training camp, then hold out in the regular season. That's the nuclear option. Ask for a trade. I feel like that happens every single contract negotiation, or at least leaks like sources close to a person tells us that they would be open to a trade. Change of scenery. Look what happened to Diggs. That all happened. But Dalvin has a unique situation this year in 2020 due to coronavirus, due to the Rona. And, if it came to it, I'm not saying he would pull this, but if it came to it, the leverage that he could apply would be turning his holdout into an opt-out. So here's what we're talking about. So in baseball, in basketball, as well as they're potentially entertaining in the NFL, that players could opt out of the season due to concerns about the coronavirus. It basically pause their contract. Like if Dalvin opted out of this season, it does not mean that next offseason he would automatically be a free agent. It's not going to work like that, right? So basically the Vikings would just pick it up on his final year of his rookie deal. Right back again. There you go. But this is how it's explained from CBS. Quote, under the plan developed by the NFL and NFLPA, there really wouldn't be any strict guidelines with the opt-out. Any player who had a pre-existing condition would be allowed to sit out. Players who have family members with pre-existing conditions would be allowed to sit out. Also, any player who has any concerns about playing during a pandemic would also be allowed to sit out, which would open the door for pretty much any player to sit out the season, end quote. So it is an option, right? So if Dalvin, and also it's the option that the media would really give him a lot of cover for. And also, hell, they would make him a champion of the cause, right? So if Dalvin came out and said, I do have concerns about the season. I do have concerns about how the Vikings are handling the pandemic. I do have concerns about potentially spreading this to my loved ones. I do have concerns, yada, 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 yada. The media, ESPN, everyone would make him into a saint. They really would. And this could be part and parcel. Like Dalvin could legit be concerned about coronavirus for himself, for his family, for his loved ones, just like all of us. He's absolutely human. But also, this could be twofold. He's using that as leverage, right? So it's like, you know what? I will opt out unless I get a nice long-term deal, right? Now, it seems extremely callous, right? And it seems extremely, what's the word? Just looking for the... It's dirty. Like he would be certainly doing the Vikings dirty, but also I feel like all is fair in contract negotiations because teams will do players dirty at the drop of a hat. Like we saw that with John Sullivan. We saw that with Alex Boone to a degree. We're going to see that with Riley Reif as the season approaches, right? So Dalvin, like I said, just using any sort of leverage that is in his corner. And frankly, I think it could work because even though the Vikings have all the leverage in the spot, he's under contract for a year. He can't hold out unless he wants his contract to toll for a year. So he's got nothing. They could just Bigfoot him, be like, hey, you show up and you play for us, you play for no one, you play on your rookie deal, blah, blah, blah. But it does feel like the Vikings are going to cave because Rick Spielman, his history with re-signing his guys, as well as the Vikings, just the franchise, as well as the fan base's love for the running back position, even though it's a bit counterintuitive to the modern NFL. But we do love Dalvin Cook, and frankly, they could see it for what it is. So they're getting some bad PR about a star player calling them out about coronavirus, as well as, if Dalvin legit does opt out, because this would be way different than Le'Veon Bell. Yes, he is missing a year of his prime, but also he's only 24 as opposed to Le'Veon Bell, who's in his late 20s when he held out with the Steelers. So maybe they cave. I think they would, because I think they look at this offense too. It's like, hey, we love Alexander Madison, we love Mike Boone, but Dalvin Cook is the bee's knees, especially in this system, as well as he could be the second leading receiver on this team with no Stephon Diggs as Justin Jefferson gets up to speed. So maybe it would be just that last little push to get the Vikings over the goal line in contract negotiations. I don't know. Man, I'm glad I'm not an agent. Or I'm glad I'm not like an assistant to an agent, because I would have so many ideas of finding leverage. But of course, they have them too. But we'll see. But your thoughts? Dalvin turning his holdout into an opt-out? Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. If you want to support the work, pull us up on the Venmo. Plus give us a follow on social media as well. But until next time, Skull, production value.